so we'll go through 2, 3, and 4A. And just real quick, those of you guys at home, this should actually be up here. Oops, not there. So I had it down, so it should be shifted up. Okay, so we'll go through a few here that you guys have questions on. All right, so number 2, let's start with. That's that problem with the antenna. Now this one, the drawing makes it really strange, and I think they're trying to be helpful with the drawing where they have the 2 different angles inside there, but that made it a little bit tougher. And so what I'm trying to get you guys to see is essentially so we have this, and they're just like overlapped on each other. What they want us to figure out is how tall is the antenna, and that's basically this distance here. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out this long side here, and we'll figure out this one, and then we'll subtract the 2. The good news is they'll give us these angles. So this is 52 degrees, and then this one's 56. Angles, you can use SOHCAHTOA. So this is not necessarily something where you guys have to use, you probably don't want to use law of sines or cosines. It's probably, I think it's longer to do that. So here I'm going to look for this value here, this x. Over here I'm going to look for y, then I'm going to end up subtracting the 2. So this is the opposite side. This is the hypotenuse. That means this is my adjacent. So opposite over adjacent is tangent. So if I'm looking for a missing side, I'm going to use the tangent. I'm going to do tangent of 52 equals x over 300. So in order to solve this, I'm going to multiply by 300. So I have to grab my calculator. And now one of the things, when I was working in AR this morning, just realizing if you get a really weird answer, check what mode you're in, because now we're converting back into radians and degrees. If you get some crazy answer, you're like, that makes 0 sense, it's probably because you're in the wrong mode. So kind of watch the mode you're in. So this looks like it's 383.98, so 384. And that's this distance, this height, so 384. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. So again, I'm going to multiply each side by 300. And I get 444.8 feet. And so again, that's this longer one here. So I'm just going to subtract those 2 to figure out how tall this antenna is that's on top of the building. So it's basically trig twice in the same problem. And again, their drawing just looks a little bit strange. Now this next one with the Ferris wheel. Again, if you didn't see my hint on the top, you should look for hints. It says hint, use the window, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that. We haven't really reset a window before. Let me grab my calculator up here on the screen. Because if you just graph it the way it is, it's going to look kind of strange. Oh, I actually, look at that, I had it in here already. But let me quit. Let me actually, I'll show you how to do it. I'll type it again. So we want to type that in, and I tell you guys to use the might have been the way it looked when you guys showed up. Maybe. And so like, I think Garrett came to me and he obviously had graphed it because he showed me a bunch of little lines at the top of the paper. I'm like, well, that doesn't look right. That's not what we wanted. So again, I have the hint to use the window. Now, you have to double check if you should be in radian or degree mode. If something weird happens, again, try the other mode. If you're stuck, I'll try to be helpful with that for you guys on a test, but especially when I give you a hint, you should probably use it. So it says use the window 0 to 4 for our x. So they're telling you the x minimum is 0 and the max is 4. So this is the window screen on your calculator. You probably all should have that somewhere, depending on what type of calculator you have here. The scale is just like how many little tick marks they put on there. The y is from 0 to 110. Bless you. And then I'm going to graph that. And that'll change the way this looks a lot. And so this makes it a lot easier to graph this and put it on your paper here. Now it says the diameter of the Ferris wheel. This is kind of strange that this works this way. So this Ferris wheel going around, it's like say point P is on the Ferris wheel. Here we are. We're riding the Ferris wheel. We're going up and then we're going down. We're not really moving across space like this. The Ferris wheel is not like rolling down the side of the parking lot or whatever. It's staying in the same spot. Well, what's across the bottom? What is this? Time. It's time. So over the course of time, I'm going up and then I'm going down. I'm going up and I'm going down. You might just got a seasick there. So they want the diameter of the Ferris wheel. That's how high to how low that circle goes. So basically you're checking like that amplitude, the high to the low, the max to the min. So we're going to trace to figure that out. And again, tracing might take longer depending on your settings and stuff like that, so don't let yourself get bent out of shape. But so mine, it looks like it goes down to 8 is the minimum. And so that's the highest you're off the ground. So a lot of times if you go on a Ferris wheel, you have to go up like a platform and it's not like dragging right on the ground. So you're like 8 feet above the ground to begin with. And then we're riding the Ferris wheel, we're going up. One more, I think. 2 more. And so we're up at the top. And now we're at our maximum height of 108 feet. So if it goes from 8 to 108 feet, that length of that Ferris wheel is going to be 100 feet. Does that make sense because of the high to low? Now right now I'm at 3 seconds. I might go back and check the other top value. I think I might have done mine wrong. I don't know. I don't know if my... So if I'm riding the Ferris wheel, to get to the top again, like I said, I might have had that wrong. Oh no, I'm okay. So at 1.6 repeating, I was at the height, and then again at 3. Yep. Okay, go ahead. So basically that's like 1 2/3, and then at 3 again. So it's like 1 1/3 second or minute, sorry, for me to get back to the top of my Ferris wheel again, or to the bottom. You can use the bottom, you can use the middle. And you guys, I think one of the big things I noticed with the last test is we're just practicing this, and the more I'll be honest with you guys, there's gonna be times you graph something, you're like, that doesn't seem right. You have to try a few different things. You have to kind of have some problem solving skills while you're in the middle of graphing, that you don't just give up and say we don't really expect a graph to look like 3 little lines. Like kind of know that the type of graphs we're working with should have similar shapes. Like we were talking about exponential, they should have looked exponential, so making sure that your situation looks right. All right, then let's talk about number 4A was our other question. So in 4A here, they tell me tangent of theta is square root of 3/3, and then they tell me the sine of theta is negative. quadrant. Since sine is negative, that can't be the case. Sine is positive here, that's obviously not the case. Tangent's positive here, but it's not here, so we're in this quadrant. So I'm going to draw my triangle here. I'm going to draw it a little bit bigger over here just so we can talk about it. So here's my angle theta. It's opposite over adjacent for tangent, TOA. So opposite over adjacent. Now you have to be careful with this one. They should both be negative because we're going left and down. Now they're both negative because tangent becomes positive there. Now I need to find my hypotenuse. And so I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem to do that. Now I don't really have to worry about the negatives anymore because they're going to become positive anyway. Now, square root of 12 is not the best number. I'm fine with you calling this square root of 12. However, I simplified it, and if you didn't, that's perfectly okay. I'm not going to be too stressed out about if the simplifying radicals is what's throwing you guys off. But if I'm talking about the sine of theta, it's the square root of 12 here. It's the opposite over the hypotenuse. So negative square root of 3 over, oh, this should be positive square root of 12. Except this one actually does simplify quite a bit. If you do square root of 3 over square root of 12, I don't know if your calculator helps you with that, but technically of 3/12, this is 1/4, the square root of 1/4. What's the square root of 1? What's the square root of 4? 1 over 2. So this actually simplifies really nicely as a negative 1/2. So that's probably where I lost some of you guys. You might have stopped at the square root of negative 3, or sorry, negative square root of 3 over positive 12. But you can go a little bit further there. And then cosine of theta is negative 3 over the square root of 12. Now this one can't really simplify, well, you can simplify it a little bit. You could have had it this way. Actually, if you have it this way, you can still divide it by 3. So this is one answer you could have, but also square root of 12 can simplify. You can pull out a square root of 4. And then this simplifies as square root of 3 over 2. So kind of a strange one that you can simplify that quite a bit. I'm probably going to try to avoid crazy radicals just because I don't want to just quiz you on that, but I also don't want you to be afraid when those come up. So a little bit tricky there. Questions? Okay, so we are to the end of chapter 2 finally. It's been forever. I have for you guys kind of similar to what we've done for other tests or quizzes. I need to cut it. When you guys are making those, just know that, again, I will be collecting them. It's more for like, so like I can know what you're writing, but also like if you need to retake, I have it. So when people come in to retake their last test, I've just said you can have your note card back, and like add to it or whatever that you need to do. But so our test is going to be on Wednesday. That's a weird W. And you guys are going to get a kind of a longish, oh, this is the sixth, that'll be Wednesday. So again, you can do, should we just stick to the same size cheat sheet here? Yeah, like a front, like one sheet, front side. So you can make a cheat sheet. The sections that are covered are basically 4 sections, but it's all really one out of our book, which makes it a little bit tough because our book goes into very little details, kind of what we were talking about yesterday, just that it's like trig, it's supposed to be like everything you learned in trig in one semester or one day, like, but it's obviously not going to happen. So again, they kind of have you coming in thinking that you know some of it, and I know that everyone's taken trig. So that's why we've broken out down into the 4 days. And so the way we did those 4 days, just to kind of review with you guys real quick, our first day was like regular trig, like SOHCAHTOA, and then law of sines and cosines. I think that was the first day I was gone. Base this off of like all my absences here. So SOHCAHTOA. And then law of cosines and sines. So those would be great things to put on your note card, and like how to do them, whatever you guys need from that. Then section 2, we got into trig in like circles. So that's where we started talking about that unit circle and like different angles and what their trig values would be. That's when we started saying, well, if we go around this way, you know, like that idea. Day 3 is when I came back and I tried to fix everything that had been broken. So day 3, we kind of did a little bit of review. We did add some more into that. We did a little bit more trigs and circles. So these 2 kind of went together into this day. And then finally, day 4, we ended up with the graphs. And again, with the graphing, it's more comparing the different types, like, you know, recognizing it probably should have moved to up 3 versus down 3 the way I did it, you know, so like things like that are kind of what we're looking for. And for that, we're just doing sine and cosine for those. So we should have 4 days of notes sheets. And so going back and looking at all those different sheets, we have 3 out of those 4 days were worksheets for homework, and then 1 of the days was a book assignment. But again, the book doesn't have a ton on this, so just that you guys know that. So you guys can work on your cheat sheet, but I was actually going to give you guys your review right away, and then before we leave today that we could answer questions and go through some problems. With the review, I tried to do 2 of each type of problem. That way, if we did 1 as a class, then you guys would have 1 to do on your own. But at the same time, I want to give you guys a chance to work through some things. But before I release you completely, I do want to do announcements before I forget. Come out You may be requested to stay by a teacher even if you met the criteria for the incentive. Teacher requests trump the incentive and you are required to stay. If a teacher is required you to stay, you will receive an infinite campus message indicating you've been requested and for what class. Will also be emailed by Ms. McDonald or Ms. Zimmer on Thursday. Students who are required to stay are expected to stay for the entire afternoon. All missing assignments must be turned in today to be considered for the incentive. NHS Met. Food service will no longer take cash at the register at lunch. Deposits are to be put in the deposit box in the office and will be picked up by 10 a.m. daily. FFA members, next meeting will be tomorrow at 3:15 in Ms. Raffke's room. Point setup fundraiser, committee signups, LDE and CDE practices will be discussed. Art club will not be meeting Friday for lunch, but they will be having set painting for the musical in the auditorium from 12 to 3 for anyone that can attend. Math team, if you guys are interested, we're going to a math meet on Monday. The van is filling up. Don't miss the fun. If you're still interested and you can't go Monday, we will have other opportunities, so let me know if you're interested. Girls softball, sign up in the high school office. Fitness center, you can sign up to work out if you're an academic standing. All right, let me get you guys our homework assignment. I try to do a sampling of kind of almost every type of problem we cover this chapter. I did not put any word problems in there, like the two that we went over as part of our homework here. So just maybe going back and looking at those again, because I do like those problems. Like I said, I just didn't put any in here. I was feeling less creative as I got later last night, so I apologize. My dog was like stepping on me while I was using my computer. So use your notes and use your homework to kind of help you to guide your learning here or your preparation. Work together. Let me know. We can always make a list of questions if there's things we should go over as a group. So homework should be online.